a bunch of editors here that are in the technical space, and we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence and about the challenges and confusion a lot of people are encountering. So I'm going to sort of start out because, uh, artificial intelligence has been around for actually a very, very long time. And in terms of industry, it's been around for more than a decade, especially in the electrical engineering side of things. And what I've been seeing is that there is a lot of confusion because a lot of people now are discovering artificial intelligence in terms of what they can do with it because of the chatbots. And these are part of large language models, but these are actually only something that's relatively new. Whereas things like CNNs, convolutional neural networks have been around for a long time and have been doing a lot of good. For example, they're great for things like identifying objects within a video, for example. So I was curious from, everybody else's perspective, are you sort of running into this in the same fashion?
Yeah, definitely. I think there are, if I were to encompass what I hear in the process control space, which control covers, um, it's just like there's this AI reality. In fact, we actually had an article called the AI reality where it can do wonderful things no matter which type you're talking about. But it should never be confused with human thought and analysis because that's not what it does. It does predictions on words, especially LLM. But there are a couple areas within our sector that I think people have gravitated to find use for the AI models, particularly LLMs like everybody else. And I think neural networks, I think have some predictive maintenance.
Yeah, so for control design, we are focused mainly on machine builders and system integrators. So kind of less on the end user side of industrial automation, and more those that are building those machines and integrating them into production. I can get into some good examples of how they are using generative AI and LLMs to do some interesting work with programming, but I do just want to make a point because this point has been made to me a lot because we see AI everywhere. I mean, we see it in our press releases. People want to slap AI on every product that's out there. And it is not because there are all these different kinds of AI, as we'll probably get into, it isn't a one size fits all solution for all applications. And Bill, you mentioned, some of the AI that's been around. I've talked to a lot of people that have made the point that if you're just trying to understand asset performance or identify drivers for downtime, optimize your production processes, machine learning models are quite effective at that. And you don't really necessarily need AI to do that. Um,
Mhm.
and industry's been doing that kind of data analysis for, decades. The capabilities of that analysis have grown exponentially as our compute power has really increased very rapidly over the last decade. And that massive compute power has led ML to power AI. But for a lot of industrial applications, you don't really need it. So you need to kind of first make sure, what is this AI? And is this going to serve the application that I'm trying to use it for?
Yeah, I 100% I see where Anna's coming from. At machine design, when we're looking at AI, we specifically looking at applications in robotics, for example, we're looking for, and this has been my exploration since the beginning of this year, looking for strong, viable cases through the lens of companies' applications, particularly those that are perhaps leading the way and looking for ways to succeed based on how they can support development across the machines that they're building and across the value chain. So looking for ways to towards trends that are thus scaling, perhaps. And maturity, that's another thing, I guess, a trend that I've seen through some of the trade shows that we look at, that we've attended this year. So in an upcoming video report, we're looking at the way companies develop innovative products or services with generative AI enabled or physical AI tailored to tailored solutions. So we are looking at specific examples with full knowledge that it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and that you need to do some kind of analysis on what your needs are in order to understand how this is going to fit into your value chain and whether you want to invest or not. Preparing for this conversation, I like stats, so I did read a couple of reports. So McKinsey, for example, says over the next 3 years, 92% of companies plan to increase their AI investments. But while nearly all companies are investing in AI, only 1% of leaders call their companies mature on the deployment spectrum, meaning that AI is fully integrated into the workflows and drives substantial business outcomes. So it tells you that there's a lot of room and on-ramping that still needs to happen. But it also, that same study also tells us about how it is the employees are far more on board with AI solutions than the leaders themselves are. So that already tells you where the trajectory of the market is, where the learning needs to happen, where the buying needs to happen, and how the strategies will change in implementing or deploying AI solutions.
Right. Hey, I'm actually glad you brought that up, Brianna, because I had recently I was at a trade show and I had a CEO of a vendor tell me, really this idea of generative AI has really excited the next generation of workforce. I mean, it's like it's given them, it's made, in our world, it's made operational technology cool again in some ways. So that value is really a big driver of everything. And scalability I throw out there too. I hear a lot about how we can ever scale this. So